Webcomic Podcast on the Without Your Head Network. If you haven't had a chance to go to the Without Your Head Network, check it out. They have several great, interesting shows there. You can get your horror movie fix. You can get interviews, movie reviews, supernatural stories, all kinds of great stuff from all over the United States and abroad. We actually have been on hiatus with another show that we do called Curious Transmissions that will launch it back up sometime in the spring. But we're very fortunate that they also house the Without Your Head network family that is the Rip Comic Podcast. It is great to be part of that team. They have great shirts, and they also have the Severed Limbs online film festival that if you have a short film, you know, you want audience to kind of check it out and all that, get onto that page, take a look, join, subscribe, and all that good stuff, and become part of the Without Your Head Network family, and so that you can stay on board with all the updates and everything. And Nasty Neil out there will definitely get you started and tell you which great shirts that they have to offer and all that good stuff. But anyway, let's get on to business. And the important business, since this is the Rip Comic Podcast, is, well, it's about donuts. All right. So you walk into a donut shop, you see, all the great donuts, and usually there's several ways that you can bring these donuts home. The old way, if you got just a couple, get them in a bag, 2 or 3, rocking and rolling. They all get nice and smooshed up all together and stuff like that. If that's your kind of thing, hey, great. Then the invention of a box. Hello. You put them in a box, you get a dozen in there, have them all sideways and stuff like that. And very much like in the manner that you would put them in a bag, they get all nice and squished together and stuff. So then that chocolate donut, now he has made his friend a chocolate donut, and the glaze guy made that guy, and this sugar dude, and all that connection and rubbing and stuff like that. There's no social distancing happening in that box of donuts. I'll tell you that. Then I remember Krispy Kreme coming around. Then they started, they were smart about things. They had that big, long, flat box, and a lot of stores have that because we don't like all that touching. And if I get a chocolate donut and I don't like chocolate, well, then everybody's nice and separated. So we have that flat box, and we set those donuts up, and everybody's all nice and separated, and you're not getting all that squishy feeling. Now, maybe the bottom, when it touches the bottom of the box, maybe that's where you're going to start getting, some of that that donut love that kind of through the day kind of melts off and all that kind of good stuff. But whatever the case may be. So let me pose this question. Okay, now that you have your box, I don't care what version that you have. Usually some of these places will have the sausage kolache or ham and cheese croissants or various sandwiches that are heated up. Now, are you going to want to put your donuts that are already bagged, that is, you want to put that microwaved stuff on top of that box? You see where I'm going with this? Or do you want that hot bag of hot kolaches and croissants to be in another box? Because what's going to happen when you have those nice, yummy donuts, glazed and all that have cooled down, and do you know where I'm going with that? And then you've just heated up all these kolaches and sandwiches. What are you going to do with those? Are we going to open that bag with your donuts and stick that hot bag in there? What's going to happen to I don't think it takes rocket science to figure this out. So anyway, I don't think this person passed science. They were about to just shove those donuts right, on the bottom of that hot mess. And yeah, I think you know where I'm going with this. Anyway, so I politely said, no, well, hold on. I was like, can I get that in a separate bag? I go, those are hot donuts, and they just glared at me like how dare you tell me the way to package these donuts and hot kolaches? I was intending on putting these nice hot croissants and kolaches all on top of your donuts. I was intending on melting the crap out of your box. How dare you look at me like that? Anyway, so I used my math sense. If math sense could be or science sense, and I use my superpowers to request an additional bag so I can carry that separately from my donuts. And guess what? I was correct. The donuts came home safely, and those hot croissants were just a steamy, sweaty mess in a separate bag, like I knew that was going to happen. But she was intending on making those donuts a sweaty mess, melting and all that crap too. So I saved the day. So I should have my own superhero comic book called Donut Man and how not to melt the donuts. Anyway, so yes, Mario WandaVision is pretty awesome. It is very interesting how they set up the show, and it was funny because I think when we saw the first two episodes, me and the guys, we wanted to go ahead and we wanted to kind of talk about those episodes, and then we're like, no, okay, let's kind of give it a let's hold off on that. Because we're always like one step ahead, and I didn't want to infamous Mandalorian moment. Mandalorian, the way that show was set up, there were loads and loads of spoilers and stuff like this. This show, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're a diehard, WandaVision fanatic or Avengers or whatever, I don't know. I mean, if you don't have the channel, don't tell me that we can't talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I'm not going to wait until you decide you want to subscribe on the show and keep me from talking about it. I mean, I want to be able to talk about some of the stuff. I mean, what am I spoiling on this thing? I mean, please. I mean, you might as well just after the news. Oh, don't tell me about the news. I don't want to be spoiled by the news. Oh, guess what? It's coming on in about 30 more minutes, so you can catch it then. Oh, no, 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 I don't want to. I'll wait till it comes out on Facebook or something. Anyway, so we almost talked about it last week. We had 3 episodes in, and but only one of us had seen that third episode. So I said, no, 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 no. Let's go ahead and wait one more additional week. And I thought that, you know what? And that proved to be the point. If you saw the first 4 episodes, they're nicely enclosed with each other, because there's some things that are happening, and I like that mystery that WandaVision has set. I do like what they have set up. Mario, if you're still on, I like how they have these little glimpses of something, and then I love how you're seeing that sitcom feel. And if you're familiar with that, Bewitch, I Love Lucy, Donna Reed, all these 1950s type shows, and then you get into the 60s where, the shows of Dick Van Dyke and other shows like that. So when you see that vibe, and then it breaks that stylistic structure, you can sense it. You really, really sense it. Like, hey, what's going on here? And it's actually real intense and dramatic and stuff like that. And it's real subtle. I mean, you can tell that they break the that wall. They break that haze or whatever it is of that. We're stuck in this world, and then you can tell that something happens and the camera movements change, and that is the beauty of what this show is. And you see that in every episodes. There are these moments where it's very much totally devoted to the style that oh wow, they're recreating that vibe, the sets and the feel. But then you have the choking moment at dinner, and then the camera changes all of a sudden. That becomes a very interesting thing. And then you end up having the bee guy coming through the manhole, and then you end up seeing that thing. And hey, Kevin, yes, no, thank you. I'm congratulations on the selling out of the book and stuff like that. We've been fans past couple of episodes and stuff like that. From time to time we'll run across some of the books. Go to Behemoth Comics Facebook, like their page, check out what they have. We actually even had a spotlight on the Behemoth Comics site. We actually went to their website. We broke down their website. We were paying a visit to everything on that website, even the submission process of how, if you have a particular what's it called, work that you want to submit, and it shows the process that you go to try to get your work to be part of the Behemoth, all hail Behemoth Comics family there. And big fans of everything that they're doing. In our just a sneak peek, a quick glance at what we're looking at next week. And we use previews as our main thing because a lot of our listeners and ourselves, we follow previews primarily because that's what our local comic book store does. And so we like to spotlight, what is coming out hot. And of course, A Girl Walks Home Alone. That one is already, we got a second printing of that. And we also have, I believe it's the collection of that. So we got a trade paperback coming out. And big fan of the film. When I heard that you guys were putting that together, we were definitely excited to cover that. And I went, to the local comic shop, and as soon as I saw it, I saw the ratio variant, and definitely got that one for I'm a big supporter of the American Classic Comics Company here down in Corpus Christi, and they are the ones that are pretty good at giving our local fans here of comics the chance to get these type books, not just Behemoth Comics, but Aftershock, Scout, AWA. I mean, they're the ones that are giving some of these independent, and there's a whole lot more, but you'll see more of these books on their shelf. Unfortunately, one other shop decided to stop their comics and just go more toys, and they're Pop Central now. I'm assuming that they're going to become the Texas Pops of Corpus Christi. And then then we got another store that and they have a mode or a method of keeping their business operating, is where if you subscribe to their books, that's your primary audience, and then maybe you'll get an issue or two, but it's it's a little bit more challenging to locate books such as Freak Snow or or anything of that nature. I mean, you want the inside tip, you go to Facebook, you go to Instagram, and you go to Twitter. Be friends with and like and follow these pages. I'm just going to tell you a couple of them right now. Behemoth Comics, Vault Comics, Scout Comics, Aftershock, AD to AWA. Like these pages, then you start to see who the artists are. Then you get the inside tip. You can get some really cool stuff directly from them. You can order stuff from these guys. If you can't find it at your shop, reach out to these stores. They want you to have this stuff. They want you to have the coolest stuff. Why are you going to fight, people and hold your breath and hope that they don't get me wrong. We support the local comic shop, but at the same time, if you want to get that stuff and you desperately want to get that, maybe it's a variant print, or you want to get the autographed copy or the limited edition, special thing that they have, reach out to them, go to their pages, follow them. uh, Freak Snow, Freak Snow, when you look at their site, yes, it did come out, earlier in the month, but guess what? When it finally appears on um, previews, we're probably down the line. It's going to end up selling out, and stuff like that. So we definitely love to support the independents and all the endeavors and all the news and all that kind of stuff. We love to celebrate a lot of that. So definitely, Kevin out there, Behemoth Comics, you're definitely you're a book that we love, imprint that we love, I should say. And lo and behold, in the top 5 is another Behemoth comic that will garner our top 5 for sure, because it's something that I truly love. And there's some books that I can't wait to come out in February. And we've been talking about them, and we can't actually wait to see them pop up on the preview so that we can actually talk about them also. Um, so back to the WandaVision, the attention to detail on the production, the way that they're crafting these stories, the way that it breaks down their scenes and then it goes into something else. And I'm just talking from the production standpoint. When my brother gets online, we're going to go ahead and maybe get his thoughts on the way these episodes have been breaking down. Maybe he's seen them a little bit different than I have, but we definitely know that something's wrong. Vision knows that something's wrong, but anytime, and all that kind of stuff. You guys rock too, Kevin. Love it, and you make it easy. You make it easy to love comics and what Behemoth. You guys are in tune with a lot of stuff that we're about. And obviously, we're very collective readers and collectors of from the superhero regular guy to some supernatural stuff to monsters and robots, and I mean we're all about everything out there and stuff like that. And we're always looking for some really kick-ass stuff, and definitely you're one of the guys that definitely present that for sure. So for my brother, I definitely want to post some questions in regards to when we get into the color, uh, the color aspect of when it goes from black and white to color. I noticed something that was happening on the screen in episode 2. I kept asking my wife, is she noticing this or is it me? I kept seeing like a tint appear. It was a red tint that would slightly appear, and then a green tint, and I kept thinking, well, maybe maybe it's better. I'm looking at black and white too much, and it's freaking my eyes out. But then again, I started thinking, well, those are Vision and Wanda colors, so maybe it had something to do with that. And then we go into full blown color, now in color. I guess that would have been considered the 70s episode, which was like a mix of the Brady Bunch, Partridge Family era, with the harpsichord music playing and all that kind of stuff. And of course the set looked like some kind of mix mash of the Brady Bunch set. And then we end up in the new one, which is it does take place. I'm not gonna say that part would be a spoiler, but it does take place in a certain era, which I guess you would call it the modern era. But it's a very specific part where we open up that episode, and that's the part I'm not going to get into. But then everything it connects. So like, if this was a 3-act film, it is like noises off when you see the whole play done from one angle, and then the play switches, and then you get to see it all play again from backstage. That's where I'm getting. You get those moments where like, that's where that was it, and then you get the little sliver pieces that play out the opposite way. So that's the only thing I could say. It's like noises off. What did they pitch the idea of Wanda and Vision? Yes, imagine noises off, but the Avengers show. Because that's the only thing I can think of. It's something like that. But no, it's done very well. I'm kind of, now we're at that point. If you get those 4 episodes and you're at that nice point where you get to see that. Oh yes, this is also called the beard display. Since I don't have another person on the show with me, you actually get to you can actually count the whiskers in my beard there, Brandon. Um, I feel like I need to give you a fortune or a wise tale, or maybe I should pull out a Shel Silverstein poem and read it in a manner like the way your brother likes to read. You know what? I can probably do that, but I'm going to do it with this one. It's called Problem Cuticle Remover. Let's see. But because I'm old now, I have to remove my glasses and break the spell that I'm trying to yes, okay, so it goes, what is it? An easy to use cuticle remover that fights back against overgrown cuticles. How it works. Our pH balance formula helps remove excess cuticles quickly and soothes with moisturizing aloe vera. Yes, you must buy the Sally Hansen Problem Cuticle Remover. Now, see, now we're like WandaVision. I have my own, but they're all going to be beauty supplies because that's all I have around here. Like El Sponja or the Sponge. Yes, the Sponge. It's if anybody's married, and obviously this is what happens, it disappears on you. But the Sponge here is something that a lot of people if you have wives, that you'll see these around. They look like cat toys and they look like painting supplies, but no, that's actually what they do to moisturize the face and everything. Coming soon to a YouTube description video, I will be explaining more about the Sally Hansen Problem Cuticle Remover, and of course El Sponja. Yes. Anyway, so there you go. That is your two tips, beauty tips for the week, and that is tribute to my wife because my wife is vastly more superior. And believe it or not, I will have my wife doing a show devoted to beauty care, which she's already cornering the market with her amazing videos, and I'm not BS in there. I think she's got some amazing, talented videos. If you haven't had a chance to do that, subscribe to her TikTok, MUTTI Skin Therapy. It's on Facebook. It's on TikTok. You get all these badass videos and techniques and all kinds of cool stuff. You can see her doing all this electric treatments. It seems like my nose has been spotlighted on those videos, and it's like actually one of the top trending videos on her TikTok list, so to speak. So if you want to see an up close, impersonal, not just a beard now, you get to see my schnoz on the thing, and they're like doing all this. It looks like they're snow plowing my nose, but it's this very intense process. The latest video that my wife got to put out, and you guys are probably wondering, what the hell does all this have to do with comics? Well, you know what? This is part of comics. This is the part that you're reading the comic at the same time you're having. So just imagine we're here with a cup of coffee, or in this case, a nice Sonic drink, and we're talking comics. We're reading some comics, and and we're talking about a matter of life. Well, after that treatment, it would be considered the nose of a god. Now, it's almost like it's that episode of SpongeBob when Squidward got the statue and he had his nose and face all redone, and he's like, oh, like a chiseled dude. About my son's over here in the other room. He could probably tell us exactly the name of the episode. What's the name of that episode, son? Episode. Yeah, he became the art teacher, and he was all very nice and chiseled, and he became like this god, so to speak. That's what I felt like. I felt so glamorous. Brandon, our film festival actually moved. Now we're getting into some other subject that is not even related to comics or this show or that's universe. And I'm WandaVisioning all the universes right now, because now I'm going to talk about comic book. I already talked about Curious Transmission. I talked about my wife's MUTTI Skin Therapy, and now I'm going to introduce. Yes, we do a film festival as well, and it's called Stuff, the South Texas Underground Film Festival. If you've been following those adventures, we have now moved the date to April 8th through 11th, 2021, Alamo Drafthouse, Corpus Christi, here in Corpus Christi, Texas. We have over 80 films, feature films and short films. Some of the most awesome video films that you're videos, some of the most awesome feature films and short films that you're going to see at one place and at one time and in one weekend. So many Texas premieres. These are the films that I keep telling everybody year after year and year and year, because this is the 9th edition. You cannot stop talking about these films after you've seen them. You want to see them. You're going to like, where do I see that film again, Rob? You're going to go up to the film guy and go, please tell me, when is this film going to be released? Well, it's currently on the film circuit. Can't show it to you, but I might be able to send you a link. Or guess what? The films end up becoming, they pop up on Prime. Like some of them right now are popping up on Prime and all that kind of stuff. Scott Bateman has this incredible film. Go look it up. Scott Bateman. That's the name of the filmmaker. Go look him up. His film is right now on Prime. Josh Stifter, his film's on Prime. JJ Pettis, his film's on Prime. All these dudes are on Prime. And those are just some dudes that I'm just, because this is a comic book podcast, I don't want to delve. I can go on and on and on and on. But these guys' films eventually go online, or you can buy their films. Exit. Michael Fausti. Go to his page. Fausti Films. Order his film. Because he's selling his film right now. He'll autograph it. He'll send you stickers. Oh, okay. It says Brandon. Okay, I'll be expecting my VIP in the mail here soon. I don't know, bro. It might have got lost in the mail, dude. You know the way those mail guys are. Ever since the election, before the election, I think the one that I put it in the mailbox that they took away, and then it burned up. Remember those mail trucks were burning up? I think that's where your thing went. I do apologize on that. Anyway, the Alamo Drafthouse will be handling our ticketing. So what the way that works, I'm already here breaking out into other stuff, and this is actually should be another show. But anyway, Alamo Drafthouse, what's going to happen? That's the place to get our film passes. They're going to be available for, I don't know how long, but they're only going to offer those for a limited time. And that is the best way to maximize your viewing pleasure, because then you have more flexibility as far as, you can choose, pick and choose what you want, but you have to pick and choose early. And because if you wait too long, that seat might be taken away. Why? Because it's COVID. Come on. Everybody has to claim a seat. So if you're going to go to that screening, you don't want to miss that film, which is why the schedule is out. You plan your path, you lock down your seat, and then that seat will be waiting for you through the whole film festival, or, mix it around wherever you want to sit per screening, or if you're with a guest, you want to sit with them. You pick your seats together and all that kind of good stuff. And then tickets will be available. Whoever didn't claim seats, then they can go around and picking that. You will be able to, if there are still seating available and you have these festival pass, you can secure your seats afterwards. But a lot of these screens will sell out. But anyway, did you guys hear my donut story? I conquered the donut lady. The donut lady was insistent on melting my donuts. What donuts, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. There was a Bavarian filled. There was a sugar coated one. That's 2. There were 2 chocolate with cut up nuts, cake donuts that were there. Part of the scene of the crime. Then there was a pink icing donut that was there too. That's why I bought 5. I had the same problem every time I would ask her to put another donut in this thing of collection, this mixed collection of donuts. I lost count. She had to, maybe that's what it was. I was a little bit too picky in picking these donuts. But don't I have the right to be picky with my donuts? Shouldn't I be allowed to peruse? It's like Subway. It's like if the person tells you and like, well, like a little bit of lettuce. Yeah, put some pepper, salt, pepper. Yeah, you know what? Go ahead, put some cucumbers in that. That's your option, man. They're building it for you. I'm not the one back there building my own crap. So I'm kind of looking around. It's like Chipotle, you got to pick and All right, yeah, go ahead, throw a little bit of that in there. Well, hey, you know what? I'm going to pick my donuts. I'm going to take my time. That would have been awesome if we said, hurry up, pick your donuts, get the hell out of here. I don't want you here anymore. And I'm going to melt your donuts, by the way. Reason I say about melting donuts, because like I said before, I bought a couple of kolaches for the guys, ham and cheese croissants, and they warmed those things up, and here it is, a hot steaming bag. Here, I got a bag for you. Where would you like this bag? Oh yeah, let me put them on top of these donuts. No, get another bag. I'm going to put those separate. I'm going to put one on one side of my back seat, and I'm going to put the other one on the other side of the back seat. And that way the hot will stay over there and the regular donuts will stay over here. And the two will not meet unless I want them to meet. I don't want hot and melted donuts. If I want to melt it myself, it will melt where I put it. Some people put them in a microwave and melt the shit out of them, and it's like it becomes like a pancake. It's not even a donut anymore. It's all steaming and oh shit. That's what you do with the HEB donut. You nuke the crap out of that, get it all nice and hot, yeast, burn your mouth with the shit on it. Anyway, so we haven't even talked. All we talked about so far is WandaVision. That's okay though. I don't know. Some people don't even watch that, but anyway, but it's a good show. I like it. I'm gonna actually locate something for you guys. Alrighty, guys, here it is. It is Crossover 4. Crossover 4 is a book written by Donny Cates, art by D. Cuniff, John J. Hill, cover by Jeff Shaw. These are the same guys that did God Country and numerous other books, such as The Payback and Buzzkill and all that. And so, guess what? We end up having The Kid Loves Chains Part 4, and that's going to be in this issue. And they released the uncensored cover of the original cover. Now, what I'm showing here on the screen is actually the, in case some of y'all don't follow what's happening with Crossover. Crossover is crossovering everywhere. So what we have here is, and on cover 4, which by chance what we're showing on the screen here is the variant cover, and it has the original promotion of this. All the characters in the back were censored. You couldn't see them. They were blocked out. So you have all the paybacks, including Madman jumping through the air and
with a cape.
And yeah, and doing his thing, because they all have capes. It looks like they all decided, or most of them decided to put some kind of cape. They're running with the current crew of Crossover, that L and the little girl that escaped, and then this other cat, comic book guy, comic book Joe. I don't know what his name is. Anyway, so they're all running out into the Rip book, but that's the whole thing. We're actually crossing over with the Payback crew. This is a book that Donny Cates wrote for if I'm not mistaken, Heavy Metal and Dark Horse or something like that, and now they're appearing in this book. All the characters, it's like they're my characters. I'm taking them wherever I want to take them. So now they're together with this Image comic. So this is what they were promoting, but you couldn't see the guys. But in fashion that what we always have for Donny Cates in this particular book, which will be out February 24th. The final orders are actually this weekend. So if you want to try to get some of these issues, that's it. Going through the thing, they have also, which is going to be a very, it says $3.99, but guess what, guys? It is your 25 copy Shaw Raw variant. So just the fact that it's raw, cool. Yeah, that's code, brother. That means it's going to be like over $100.
Yeah.
And it looks awesome.
Can you see me, by the way? Just making sure.
Yes. Yeah, you look like a cutout swap and shop picture, Photoshop. Anyway, so then we got, but it looks good. No, you look good. And then of course you got, they've been issuing, every issue has had their own version of this, where you have the ellipse, and then you have a different picture for each issue. So that has been one way to collect these books, but also that also has a premium price. Very much like, the blank covers, those are released also. Those aren't as expensive, but that's another set of books that you can get. You can actually collect this series in various ways. You can collect them out of this version, with what it is, it's the artwork, a piece of artwork of the character, and it's a piece from the actual cover. But then you have it in a tone. It's like a red, a blue, a purple, or whatever. And then you'll have those three ellipses, those three circles in full solid color, and then the number right below that. So that's one way that people have been collecting the book. Anyway, so well, Madman is an all red
And
imprint,
it's
Mike.
drawn
And
by him.
so, yeah, he did a cover himself. And that is the subject that I want to kind of get into. But I just wanted to say right now it's being promoted as a top secret. So on the day of release, we're not going to know what this is. It's almost like what is it called? The spoiler variant. That's
Yeah.
what this is now, but they're using the word top secret. So there are different things happening here. It looks like swirl or something is pertaining to whatever this is, if you kind of look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be something. I'm looking at a shadow. I'm assuming that is Madman's shadow. And so we're getting little who knows what the hell's going on there. But in continuing what variants are available for this, I ran across this too. It is the 1 in 100. Yeah, so if you thought that was going to be badass, this is going to just, yeah. So it's basically Donny Cates and all his wild friends are going to just go apeshit on the comic book industry, and he's going to allow them, just like Todd McFarlane had his own, raw cover, whatever, come out, and now Mike Allred's going to have his own,
What
Chingasu.
do we call his crew? Because you have the Stormbreakers, and then he's the Chingasos. Is that the?
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, it's got to be something. But this is, I started thinking if we bare bones broke down what this was, is there maybe a way that we can identify it a little bit more? The more and more I'm thinking about it, I'm looking at the hand, the claw. Okay, what it is, guys, just for people that can't see it, it's the cover, the Mike Allred cover of Crossover 4, and you can see it's Madman right in the center, but something is either pulling at him,
Or he's pulling something with him.
he's being pulled in, or he's pulling somebody out of something. And I'm looking at these lightning bolts coming in, or whatever this stream, and everybody's kind of looking at what's happening. I don't know, but then you see these three characters, and a line separates whatever's happening on the left half of this photo, and it says top secret. And the full reveal of this cover will not be revealed until February 24th. So we're kind of just left with something here, and so that's what the speculation is. We know that we see Thor here. Thor is in the mid right. We know that.
I have to say something. I mean, we thought it was Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
In number 3, and they even said Doctor Strange, and he's like, "Nope, I'm Doctor Black with a Q." And it's like,
so these weird.
These could be misdirections. I mean,
adventures in babysitting.
Yep, those could be war souvenirs of like their fallen comrades. So he could have Thor's helmet, but it might not be Thor.
It might not be Thor.
Exactly. Might be Scumbag or something. I don't know.
Yep. So it'd be interesting. And then, the more and more I think about it, what if that's part of the mask, that little flare on the bottom where the line comes down? And what if it is a turtle? I don't know. Like, because the arm, the things seem like the shoulders seem really high, and it's like, or a crab
but
guy.
but when we were talking about it in our chat, even Richard said it, perspective, and I could see that kind of now, where the other two fingers might be like within the silhouette. And again, well,
if you look closely, you can see the blue lines and stuff. I mean,
yeah.
No, they're filled in, bro, because I'm looking at it and you can see their strokes. They're black strokes, so it's meant to be silhouette. I don't think.
Right.
But then again, you're right. You're right. They could be masked to cover whatever it is.
And it could be misdirect because they've been. I mean, I have to say, he's probably Donny Cates recently has done great with the secrets, the variants. I mean, all of a sudden, like with the secret covers with the part 1 with the different comic on the cover of the comic. I mean, How many years has it been since freaking Madman has been around? Or are they still doing comics of him?
Honestly, he's been working on other stuff. He's been
I was
working
gonna
with other
say,
people. Yeah, he's been working with other stuff. So it is awesome to, and when he does appear, it's too far in between, but it's awesome to definitely see that white and the hair coming up top, and then of course the
they
his
have Docs on.
yeah.
Um, didn't wasn't there a Madman an Image crossover before? Like, didn't he come out in a Spawn or Savage Dragon or some craziness or something before?
Oh, you mean when I was collecting the book and stuff like that, that he appeared somewhere? I
I
think
thought
so.
in the
I,
early,
I
like
thought
the
so.
first couple ish or the first year of Image, I thought, you know,
We saw him pop up. Yeah, because
yeah,
McFarlane was really good about that. Good,
yeah,
reaching out to people in his early going. Um,
before
uh,
he became corporate comics.
yeah, he's trying to get credibility on his book. And then, hey, Mr. Cates, what are you doing? He's taking a page right out of McFarlane with the jail and everything. It's like, hey, wait a minute. But the thing is that he's exploring that. He's breaking down that and actually he's fulfilling what we thought would have happened. But back then, I guess, well, the mighty grip of the law got involved.
Well,
Anyway,
well, I mean, it's it was in our lifetime we've seen a couple crossovers between Marvel and DC, but now I mean there's they always talk about the big two, but to me, I mean, there's just so much out there that I mean, are they really? No, I guess media wise, yeah, they're the staples of what people expect of comics.
I think when what he's done with Venom, and now that he's had this, well, my run is over with Venom. Well, what are you going to do? Within that time working with majors, and that wasn't the only book. I mean, nobody said that he's now done completely because I mean he's still doing Thor, but before that he did Doctor Strange. He did Cosmic Thanos. He did the what is it? The Inhumans, uh, Silver Surfer Black, and he's been able to work within the system and learn the Marvel way and stuff. So I mean, I'm pretty sure he's learned a lot and made a lot of connections and stuff like that. And I mean, he's one of the
Mhm.
hottest dudes. I mean, uh, you know, he can tell them, hey, you want to take everything to the next level. This is what we're doing, and this, that, and the other, and join in the fun, and let's make comics fun again. It doesn't have to be, all this, that, and the other. I mean, as far as we know, we see these Marvel dudes. Maybe Marvel doesn't give them the a-okay, but what if all of a sudden right down there he's pulling in some kind of DC dude? You never know.
Yeah,
Something.
we should
Um,
get hats made for MCFA.
uh, we need to do something.
McFa.
But yeah, that's what's going on with this, and it looks pretty heavy duty. As what it is.
And
Uh, Go ahead.
I've been enjoying. I finally ended up having to buy a digital copy of Crossover 3
Crossover 3.
because I keep asking my uh, LCS, has it come in? And they're like, I'm like, I don't want to just outright call them out and say, did you order it like I asked you to?
All right.
At least I
Well,
keep getting ink blot. That's the running gag.
it's next week. I was actually contemplating putting it on the top 5, and I was like, nah. Because I'm already reserving that spot for a review, and
Yeah,
so it's going to be ink blot special thing. That's going to be the little cover of our thing, and then me meow. It's going to be right there, and it's the annual review.
so I was gonna say, so that needs to be the review because then we still need to read that Doctor Doom
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Iron Man,
It will be our goofy episode when we do
and
those.
then we can also show that picture from uh, that Savage Dragon
Oh,
um, issue that I just recently got, where Santa Claus is telling him don't f with the babysitter or
oh.
Santa Claus. Big old picture of him saying it.
I've already kind of did my little spiel on WandaVision. My take is I understand what was happening, unless there's some insight that you want to kind of shed on what you were feeling in issue and episodes 1 and 2. And I kind of think we talked a little bit briefly about it previous, but I want to specifically talk about when we get into color and we're
Oh,
how that worked, because I know that the third episode and then we get into this one. I want to get your take on that. I really didn't want to. I didn't reveal too much, and also there was a major component in that fourth episode that I didn't want to reveal because I truly felt that that was probably spoiler into regards how, you know, I guess the chain of events happened.
right.
So
And
without
I'll
saying
talk
that,
about
yeah,
three. I'll talk
yeah,
about the
right.
70s.
Yeah, so
Um,
go ahead. Yeah, give your input, because I already, like I said, I already kind of I went from a technical aspect. I talked about production and stuff like that. But go ahead. What was your take on that episode 3? It's the 1970s. Go ahead.
it. I mean, I was blown away by it. Only because usually when you see shows like the Goldbergs and stuff like that, it's a caricature of the 80s. They're trying to stick as much as they can, and it doesn't really get there. Here, somehow they're able to make a set. It's not the Brady Bunch set, but it looked like, when you see it, that's the first thing that comes to mind, because the architecture, the design. Paul Bettany, to be able to pull off that 70s look, like he looked, again, it didn't look like a caricature. Somehow they were able to make him look like, I mean, I remember seeing pictures of, like, our uncles, people, our dad, dressed that way, and I just thought it was cool. And in that episode, you start slowly break, you were getting in the first two, 50s and 60s, a bit of a here and there reveal type, what we're wondering what's going on. And this show, I mean, my wife, she's still in Texas, she was watching with my daughter, our daughter, and she enjoyed it. Like, my wife is like, likes the show. And she was kind of surprised because she kind of, we watch all the superhero movies, so she kind of got superheroed out. But she really liked the way they've been doing the sitcom part, and even just the storyline. And she agreed with me how, because like we both said it around, about the same time, how they were able to make him look like he was from the 70s. I mean, down to the hair, the, everything. And again, it wasn't a caricature. It wasn't, somebody going to the Party City and buying a. There we go. See, that's the dude. That right there is episode 3 of WandaVision. If you're wondering what WandaVision was, there. I mean, granted, it has DC because you got Batman, but still, I mean, they were able to capture that. Again, it didn't look forced. It didn't look um it looked 70s sitcom.
Right.
Let me put it that way. Because of course, right there you see somebody with their shirt untucked, and in the TV, in the 70s, you would not have seen somebody with their shirt untucked. But again, they've been moving the storyline along. When I watched it and I knew it started with the sitcom stuff, I knew, I was like, okay, this is a show. They're gonna make you want to watch. They're gonna build up, you know, to the end result. And I've told some people that they haven't watched it yet. I said, well, I said, if you watch it right now, I mean, I was like, you need to be invested. And it was funny because then later I saw the tweet from the showrunner telling people, you know, you need to invest in the show because it's going to get somewhere. It's going to, Marvel fans will, enjoy it and stuff like that. And I agree. I've enjoyed the show. This is the first. I mean, I don't count Agents of Shield as really, you know. I mean, I haven't really watched it, but
Right.
to me, this still has the cinema quality, and and they're moving the story along, and then we're getting characters that, from the MCU. and they're pulling them into this new phase, and they're gonna, I think, they're gonna take a big part in, with the upcoming movies of Doctor Strange and Spider-Man and all that stuff.
No, I agree. I like a lot of what they're doing. Just the only thing I had said from are you familiar with the play Noises Off?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I I basically stated that if you watch the first three episodes and then you get to the fourth, basically it's like Noises Off. You saw the play from one side, and then we kept hearing feed and the people and all that.
Yep.
Well, now flip the entire episode, and we watch it from all one point of view, and then we're getting those little bits that we had already seen, and now we're seeing how it all connects together. And that's the way Noises Off was. It's like, oh, wait a minute, there's that dude, and then that's why they were doing whatever they were doing. We're now finally seeing behind the backstage of what was happening, which was, now we're in the modern era without revealing too much. But as far as we're getting to see the flip side, and we're getting to learn those characters and how they all connected, and why it's doing what it's doing. It's 1:14, so that means we've got about maybe 15 minutes.
Okay, that's
Anything
fine.
else other than that, as far as WandaVision? I really think that finally, if you can make it through those first two episodes, which I imagine if they were done single episodes, it might have been tough, because I was getting some messages from people going, "Do you understand what's going on in this show? Do
Yeah.
you know whatever's going on?" But I think that's done on purpose. It is
Right.
done, and then you start getting the pieces as you're going through the episodes. Then you start putting the whole thing together. Then it starts to make sense. By the time you get to that, and you get that other flip side, then it's like, oh wow, now
So
now the show really takes off. That's why
two
that's
points.
what I'm thinking. Yeah,
2 points, and I'll be done with WandaVision. Anybody who's followed the comics and know about Wanda, I mean it. You could. I mean, we thought that before the show even started, and
yep,
as it's going on, and then, like I said, episode 4 is the issue 6 for everybody.
yeah.
It's wow. I also, if you haven't seen Noises Off, and if you've watched How I Met Your Mother, they do the same thing, because they'll like
That's right.
they'll like go back like a whole season and show that, oh, they
That's
were
how they
they
played.
were on
Yeah,
the other side of the couch while that was happening, and that's what made the noise, and that's what did. I mean, like 3 seasons happened like 4 days. It was like, oh, 3 days before the wedding, and it's a whole
right.
season. Oh, but before that, and the next season was like a week before that. I don't know. It's
Well, if you think about it, it's the whole show is kind of in premise. Like, now we're going to break off into something. I don't want to do that, but
yeah.
basically that's what that show is like, because the person is talking with his kids about,
Mm-hmm.
oh, and I did this, and it's like it's
And that's
playing
exactly,
one
yeah.
more time all the way through there again, and that's what they're doing. And I like what they're doing on this. I think that if you've invested into these 4 episodes, you're
Keep
really
going.
you're really yeah you're really living it up right now with this last episode. And I think now you're like, oh, okay. And
when the
so,
credits rolled, all my kids groaned because they were like, "Oh, we have to wait,"
yeah,
and that's what you want in a show. And
yeah,
it's it's
and yeah,
it's that good cliffhanger.
it keeps you going, and keeps you going. And there you could see the darkness. I mean, we kind of were getting hints of it, but we were
Mhm.
living in that sitcom world, and then we would see her being the editor, so to speak, where she like, no,
Come on,
she was editing the
yeah,
film. She was editing her
yeah,
own reality. And if people weren't picking up on that, that's where it all was coming, from. So then the realization is like, wait a minute. And they caught that jump cut, or whatever you want to call it, at the
and
end. And
and
that's
with
what
and
messed
with
everything.
her and her brother, the only happiness she probably had was watching TV when she was real little. So,
That's the connect. Yeah. That's
yep,
where she's reliving everything through that. So very, very interesting. It's awesome. That's right, Mario. It's amazing. You makes you rewatch these episodes. You watch them again, and
yep,
then you start picking up on all those little pieces, and then you're like realizing that, and this is also, you don't even have to have read any of the comics, but it kind of sets you up And then you kind of start connecting it with, yes, this is what's happening. Not
So
these
there's like the
far-fetched
Sixth Sense.
stories. I'm sorry, not these far-fetched stories that people are posting up saying, "Ooh, look at this. There's the twist." Well, you know what? Those elements were already redone into another series of books. So anything that was like past 1970, whatever, that fodder was already re-put together on these other episodes, and they're basing it on, you know, more recent comics, not the distant past comics or whatever the case went on to do. Anyway, what one you said you had another point, or you're ready to go?
Yeah, no, I was nope.
Okay.
We'll go, yeah.
And the Fonz is trying to make an appearance here with less than 10 minutes in the show. This is the walk-on Kevin Costner role. Usually we reserve this at the beginning of a show when a person goes, "Oh yeah, by the way, I got stuff to do." There you go. Oh, it's Captain America. Sorry. Captain America decides to step in. Or is that Tony Stark?
It's a little mix of both.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, I'm getting a little.
Captain Steve Stark.
I did notice something on that, Mario. There were lots of people bumping into everybody and about the blip. I didn't want to kind of mention too much about the blip just yet, but I do like that. We will dive into that on the next one. If you want to actually, maybe we can get you in on that if you want to talk about that, because we're gonna talk definitely about that. To me, that was the big spoiler reveal, because then we start to situate where we are in time with these characters. And there's an amazing moment when she just glances up at Vision, and I was like blown away. And it was like, wait a minute. So she's sugarcoating even her. If she lets it down, we're not gonna go too much into that. But dude, that was like the scene in Jaws, bro, when he's getting the tooth. It was the size of a shot glass. So where's that tooth now? You like to, yeah. So anyway, we're going to close down the beaches. But anyway, so how things going, Rich? Everything good?
Yeah. They're in line to get in at Daiso.
Okay.
It's a Japanese store that has a ton of different things, and Disney stuff and Japanese stuff and candy and all kinds of crazy stuff in there. But there's always a line to get in, and it's a pretty long line.
I'm going to breeze through these really quick if you guys want to help me. And then that way, whatever time we have left, we can talk about a little bit more, because I did want to get your opinion on something else, Rich, the fact that you jumped in. All right, I'm going to go through the top 5. These are comics that I think you might want to take a careful look at your shelf. If any of y'all have already looked at the list and there's something that's on your mind, let us know. And that way, but these are the ones that kind of popped out to me. From Behemoth Comics, we have A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. It is a collection of the first 2 books. I don't know if you want to read that, Roll. We'll try to go through it real quick.
Strange things are afoot in Bad City, the Iranian ghost town, home to prostitutes, junkies, pimps, and other sordid souls, is a bastion of depravity and hopelessness, where a lonely vampire, the girl, stalks the town's most unsavory inhabitants. Collects the first 2 standalone stories.
There is a second printing of book 1 going out this same week. So if you want both, part 1, part 2, there you go. We're going to have it collected in these 2 standalone stories. I believe that's what it is, because it's, let's read it up at the top. Volume 1, TP, trade paperback, I'm assuming, and it's volume 1. So it collects the first 2. There is the number 1 second print. That should be popping up in stores. I don't know if there's any ratio variants or 1 in 25s or just of alternate covers. But hey, you know what? It doesn't matter. That's probably one of the most wicked covers that you can get. It's the movie poster. It's everything about what that movie was. It's an amazing movie. And if you haven't seen the movie, check it out. Go to Behemoth Comics. All hail Behemoth. All right. This is the other one that's popped up. It's from Dark Horse Comics. Fear Case. What we have here is a really wicked looking cover. There's a skull with like the ghost character, Papa Emeritus eye just open, and or you know, or you can say what's his name, Marilyn Manson. Anyway, and it's going into some kind of box with an X on it, and here we go. It's from it's 104. It's the first book in the series from Dark Horse Comics. What do we got here?
A no-nonsense Secret Service agent and his New Age partner investigate a mysterious box known as the Fear Case, which has appeared throughout history at sites of disaster and tragedy. Whoever comes into possession of this case must pass it on within 3 days or face deadly consequences. The agents must track down this fear case while staying one step ahead of a psychotic cult and the otherworldly forces behind the case's existence.
There you go, brother. You got all kinds of, you got secret agents. You know what? I already sense a TV show coming from this. Just listening to that, it's you know, that's what it sounds like.
It's like Archer and Armstrong and the Monkey's Paw and all the the box
X-Files,
or something.
Everything.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah,
that?
like
Fringe?
Pandora's box.
Yeah.
Yes. So from Dark Horse Comics, it is Fear Case #1. All right. Of course, Rich.
Of
Look
course.
at that. We're
Which
finally.
one's that one?
And the Amazing Spider-Man. There's really nothing to say about it. It is one of the hottest covers from Patrick Gleason. Amazing Spider-Man #55. It is the second print. It's in the red variant. So I'm assuming with that release, it's basically a countdown before those go out. Did you end up tracking one down?
I wanted the Virgin variant. I couldn't get hold of one. Not for a reasonable price. I'm getting the black and white 1 in 50. But I couldn't get the Virgin variant version of this one.
Right.
But I am getting the black and white one.
Cool. Yeah, that's that one. We didn't have that one pictured right now, but I think that one is probably cooler. No, don't get me wrong. I like the red, but the other one is that black and white, more of a pencil-y, like what it was originally looking like when he drew it. All right, so that one is out. If you hadn't already picked it up, guess what? You're not going to get it again.
Yeah.
You can go to your comic book store, and they're probably all gone. And
I got the poster, so I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
There you go. Rock and roll. All right, here we go. The next one. Of course. We got Spider-Man shortly behind. We got Venom, and it's the countdown. The countdown is on. We're getting closer and closer to the end. This is the Stegman variant. So what do we got here? It's more King in Black, I guess.
As the King in Black spreads his suffocating darkness across the Marvel Universe, Eddie Brock looks for a light, any light that can pierce it, and comes up empty-handed.
Or is it? Because if you saw that last episode of King in Black #3, there seems to be some light at the end of that tunnel. Or is it?
I saw. I was supposed to go to the comic store yesterday.
That's the next one to track down. So, Rich.
No, I have it
It's waiting for you.
I have the King in Black 3 at the comic store. I just didn't go and get it.
Okay. Well, when you get a chance, you get any versions or just the regular versions of this Venom 33, Rich?
I didn't pre-order one, so it's going to be whatever I can get my hands on after the fact, which is,
Yeah, this one looks like
slim pickings.
This looks pretty cool. It's a Stegman cover. The other one is like that claw mouth looking. I don't know. Looks like part Predator, part whatever.
I might be able to get one third party at some kind of trade center.
Right. Oh yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
But that's the one down here. You see it? It's like there's another dude inside the mouth of him. Anyway. So
the Mouth of Madness.
Yeah. And there we go. Now we're gonna go. We still got some time. We got the number. This is the one. This is the one that I think is gonna be my #1 book for the week. It is from Aftershock, Maniac of New York. Yeah, dude. This is it's got some really wicked stuff. Other books and I'll mention those in a little bit that I didn't mention, but this is the one that I think is the one here, and it got the biggest write-up. It looks like here. Here we go.
4 years ago, a masked slasher began stalking the streets of New York City. Maniac Harry is inhuman, unkillable, and unstoppable, which is why the authorities' solution has been to ignore him and let New Yorkers adapt to a world where death can strike at any moment. When Maniac Harry starts killing his way through the subway system, trauma-haunted political aide Gina Green and disgraced NYPD detective Zelda Pettibone become determined to go rogue and destroy him. But how can they fight a monster when they can't fight City Hall? From Emmy Award-winning writer Elliot Kalan, The Daily Show, Mystery Science Theater 3000, Spider-Man and the X-Men, and artist Andrea Moody, Port of Earth and Hellblazer, comes the horrifying story of what happens when terror becomes the new normal. A frightening, thought-provoking, sometimes funny, always timely tale of murder, obsession, and urban living.
Interesting background for that writer, don't you think?
Yeah.
You know, Daily Show and stuff like that. But see, that's the cool thing, and that's what we just got a couple of minutes. Other books that I did see on the list that were coming out is a third printing, Last Ronin. Dude, we've seen how many versions of The Last Ronin come out before we even seen issue number 2. They've done a whole run before we even seen issue 2. And of course, this is going to be the Kevin Eastman all black, it's all black, but then it's the white sketched out version of his thing. So if you guys are,
the last one was like a foil, right? The second printing was like a foil,
something of that. Yeah, something.
No,
no, it was
the
green.
Second,
it was green.
The foil one was a comic store exclusive sent to all the comic book stores who sold the book. That one had the red foil on it.
That's the one that's coming out.
Okay,
Eastman,
so the second printing, if it was foil, I should have gotten it.
Well, yeah, because they only had one per store.
Well, shit. Sorry.
Are you serious? Your store had something like that?
Yeah, it had the one second printing. I was like, oh, well, I mean, I have it already.
Formerly of the Rip Comic Podcast crew. No, we've all had that moment where at one time or another we've had a book, and I remember it was Avenging Spider-Man, and I went and I had this copy, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, this is Captain Marvel, and then there's Spider-Man, and she's kind of in the mid thing, and I'm like, do I want to get this? It's $1. You know what? I'll come back and get it. And then I look online, and some guy goes, hey, look at this book, blah blah blah, from some guy in Cleveland or whatever, and he said this book is $200, and I was like, and I had it in my hand, and it was $1 in a comic bin, and I'm like, and I went back. Obviously, it was not there the next day because somebody knew what that book was.
But
and
you know what? But at the same time, you've had the opposite where you've had some speculator telling you to sell a book at like $15, and you're like, no, I'm gonna hold on to it, and then didn't it like jump up to like 50 or 60, and you had a couple of them, and he was like, no, you gotta push it now because he doesn't know how to flip books.
Yeah, it's the
Sounds
funny
like a drug
thing.
problem.
Unfortunately, I feel like what is it? I'm sorry, Matt Damon, but we've kind of ran out of time, and we're gonna have to bump you.
What's up with that?
What's up with that? What is it? Jimmy Kimmel, right? He kept bumping. What's his name?
Oh, I'm talking. There's a Saturday Night Live. Keenan, the what's up with that?
Oh yeah. He what was the character that he kept bumping?
Lindsey Buckingham.
Oh, sorry, Lindsey Buckingham. We're gonna have to bump you again. Yeah, well, Matt Damon, I think, was on another show, and he would always get bumped and all that. And I think it was a running gag they had with. I think that was him, right? Am I wrong about that? It was Matt Damon. Anyway, it was this thing on Jimmy Kimmel. But anyway, I did not get to. You know what? We're gonna have to spotlight Scout Comics next time around. But I want to thank everybody. Rip Comic Podcast is on the Without Your Head podcast network. Go to them, subscribe, become part of the newsletter, weekly updates, the schedule, guests, and more. All that stuff is up there. Our show's up there. Any of the other shows that are on there, it's great stuff. I want to thank Rich for jumping on here to be part of our
from Austin.
Yeah, from Austin at Comic Book Wednesday, and Roll from California of undisclosed nature nuclear bunker. And I want to thank them for joining us today this Saturday morning. And that's what I have for Rip Comics Podcast this week. Like before, go to the Facebook, like it, go to YouTube, find us, like that, subscribe, and go to Apple Podcasts and like and all this kind of good stuff, and spread the wealth. Go to Twitter. We're all over the place. Like, share, spread. Let us know what you want to hear, what you want to see, and what you want us to talk about. You want us to talk about your comic, Send us some stuff. There is a comic in the bin that I'm going to introduce to all the guys. It's been sitting there. I didn't forget about you. I'm going to talk about it. We're going to spread it around, and then we're going to go ahead and talk about that next week. And but that's it. That's it for Rip Comics Podcast. I want to thank you guys for joining us. And until next time, be cool.